Luis Rosas, ¿qué onda, compadre? Algunos días desde tu día. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, so today we're talking about credit, right? So it's two ways that you can work on getting your credit properly structured and getting your credit in proper position in order for you to be able to walk around with that confidence and exude that authoritative mindset for approval in different places and locations that you go. Establishments, whether it's boating, whether it's ATVs, whether it's car loan approvals, whether it is a home approval, whether it's an apartment complex approval, or whether you need to co-sign for somebody else, right? ¿Cómo está, compadre? Muy buena tarde. Y si se faltan días. Así es, right? But having yourself in proper position and having the education, the mindset of that know-how is very important, right? So I'm calling this one right here, how to get 700 plus of a credit score, right, as an individual, because there's two ways that you can do it. One way is the DIY, right? You can do it yourself. Or secondly, you can hire someone to do it for you. That way they can deal with the hassle, they can deal with the heavy lifting and all of the leg work. And you basically will sit back and continue to get updates just based upon the status of those attacks that are going out to get your credit profile cleaned up. All right. The third step is you can do nothing about it and you can sit back and wish and hope and desire a change in your situation and a change in your credit profile. Like somebody's going to be fond enough all of a sudden to delete that repossession off your profile, or the creditor is going to be so happy and pleased enough to remove that collection from your profile. Right. So it's very important, especially I got my boy Luis on as well. You know, when it comes to you establish a bond in a union with another, it's very important at least one of you guys have your credit in a position. Because if both of you are not in a position to make moves, then you're going to start off on a dire strait, so to speak, because now you're going to be working on it together versus somebody coming in and already being in a position to make a move, right? So as I mentioned, step number one is the DIY concept, because as a credit repair specialist and someone that's kind of educated in the ins and out of how credit works, the first a disclaimer is always that you can do this yourself, whether it's research, whether it's reading, whether it's going out and doing some self-study, whatever the case may be. It is all possible for you to be able to do the exact same things that you would pay somebody else to do. But what we do is that we pay for our time, we pay for the convenience, and that is what really gives us that ease of mind, right? Have you ever been in a job somewhere and you felt like, I would have peace of mind if I just left this place? You know what I mean? So when it comes to dealing with situations that you've gotten yourself into, whether it's poor credit, whether it's bad financial situations, economical issues, whatever the case may be, whenever you find yourself in those particular positions and predicaments, there's always a way for you to fix it and rectify it yourself. And there's always another way for you to have ease of mind, right? And less stress and have somebody else do it for you. All right. So let's get into a few particulars of the credit repair process. Okay. So we kind of tonight we're just going to do a brief 25-minute overview of what credit is, what a credit profile is, what is your credit score. You know, because a misconception is that, oh, I got a 720, or I have a 680, or my credit score is 800. Okay, but what does your credit profile looks like? Because if you have a very thin and very poor credit profile, then the score means nothing to a lender, and you'll still get denied, even with what you would call a great credit score. So what is credit? Credit is a contractual agreement between a borrower and a lender in which a borrower receives goods and agrees to pay, right? As I mentioned, car loan, mortgage, uh, a credit card, a loan, whatever the case may be. So what is a credit profile? A credit profile is the actual report of the credit activities to show and display your trustworthiness, right? To pay off a debt, right? And this is a great example right here. If my cousin Rob decided to borrow $500 from me. Rob never pays me back, and or Rob paid me back later than the agreed date. So now, okay, let's say Rob has paid me off, but Rob has come back 3 months late. He wait 2 more months, right? Go MIA. Then he comes back and asks me for a loan again. Typically, what would the person do? Like, no, you weren't good on your trustworthiness, right? To take this particular credit. And here's the kicker, better for you. Let's say Rob borrows the $500 from me, and Rob never pays me. He never follows up. He never touched bases. He never even comes in late. Now Rob pops back up 6 months later. Hey, what's up, cuz? I really need you. You don't need me. You need help. And I'm not going to give you that help again, because if I continue to do that, then now I'm just being a foolish person myself, and I'm allowing you to be foolish, because now you're able to use this individual, right, as a crutch. So what is a credit score? A quick way of telling potential lenders of how much of a risk that you might be. So that's why you have to scale from the credit bureaus, right? From 0 to 850. So what's on a credit report? Like when you go to establish credit, when you go to apply for a loan, try to get a vehicle, try to get a home, try to get approval for an apartment, right? Applying for certain jobs, applying for certain schools, right? So all of the names that you ever had or ever used, right, or applied for services with or under are on your credit report. Any addresses that you've ever associated yourself to are on your credit report. So when you go and you fill out those applications, that information that you put on those applications are then sent to the credit bureaus. That's why when you take a look at your credit report, your credit profile, you see all those different names that you've had. Sometimes you put your middle name, sometimes you put your middle initial. So sometimes you may have not put your middle name at all, just first and last. Sometimes you've used your mother's address, your grandmother's address, your dad's, your uncle's, right? But whatever you've used and whatever you place down on those credit applications is what the bureaus report out. So they're collecting and compiling a lot of inaccurate information, which gives us leverage by using the laws and these loopholes that were created for the consumers, right? Being you, being I, to be able to combat these negative, inaccurate, and or ill will reportings that were not agreed upon by us being a consumer. Your date of birth is on there. A lot of times you'll see an inaccuracy with that. The last four of your social security number would be on. Your credit score will be on your credit report, of course, and a brief summary of the factors that affected your credit, right? So they'll say, if you ever got denied, you get that letter in the mail that says, okay, these are the reasons that we denied you for credit. Too many hard inquiries. Credit utilization is too high. Accounts in the negatives, right? The list goes on and on. But that's how they break you down as a consumer in order to put you in a credit worthiness pile, because everybody is grouped and coupled up differently. You got the people in the 800 coupled up here. You got the people in the 800 that are coupled up but have not too many counts. You got the people that have 30, 40, 50 counts placed in this section. And you have those that have 15 to 20 accounts placed in this section. And of course, you have those that have negative accounts, derogatory accounts, collection accounts, and they're all coupled separately as well. So the companies that have extended use services and credit, so that's why you'll see accounts such as TD Bank, you'll see your mortgage lender, you'll see Tower Loan if you went out and did some type of hard money loan. You'll see all these particular company names that you decided to get credit from show up on your credit report, right? And also, of course, any collection accounts and companies that you've applied credit for, and any public information that has been revealed or associated to your name, address, and or social. So 6 factors that affect your credit, right? The number of accounts that you have, the credit age of those accounts, your payment history, any particular collections, your credit utilization, and your inquiries. So an inquiry, you have two types. You have a soft pull and a hard pull, right? So one is a soft inquiry that does not affect your credit, and then one's a hard inquiry which affects your credit score. So your credit card usage, if you were allotted $500 and you're using 499, your utilization is too high. You are using 99% of your utilization. A good utilization to have is between 30 and below. 30 is good, 10 is excellent. Collections. What we want to do with a collection of account, we want to get them to remove and delete those collections from your account because they hurt you very dearly, right? At least 40 points of a hindrance. Another heavy hitter is your payment history when it comes to lates. When it gets to 30, 60, 90 is the most severe. So when you get to 90, between 90 and 120, that's when it really gets in the red and your score drops tremendously, right? Between 50 and 100 points for even having single lates. So that's why a lot of people see amazing results when they start to get their credit uh, restored, when they start to work on their credit to improve it and better it. That's why a lot of people see results because they can get one collection removed and enhances them greatly, or they can get one derogatory removed and enhances, or they can get one or multiple late payments removed and their score jumps up. So that's why I said this is how you get to a 700 plus credit score because it takes the know-how and the mental state. Dale lo que, tan lindo que habla. Gracias, gracias por eso, Annabelle. So the credit age goes into the history of the accounts that you have open, right? So the longer that you have accounts open, the higher the credit score would be. So if you have newer accounts, you're in the what they would call the risk phase of not having enough information on you in order to judge your credit worthiness. But the longer of a credit history that you have, it proves how much of a better borrower you truly are, right? When it comes to those particular enhancements. So how the scores are calculated when you look at a Richter scale, or let's just say a scale between 0 to 100%, right? From nothing to completion, right? So 35% goes to payment history. So you can see how heavy payment history actually means to your credit report because it's number one. The second one is the outstanding debt that you do have, right? So your credit utilization, as I mentioned, this is how much credit you've been allocated versus how much of that credit are you actually using, right? For example, a few years ago, I went and I got a mortgage. I got a home mortgage, right? Home loan mortgage. And the approval was around maybe 400 or 500,000. But that doesn't mean that you go out and you get a 400 or $500,000 house. That just means how much that you were actually approved for. But what you would do, you would take that approval and you would break that down into another bite. And then if you need to, you would break that down into another bite. And that way you won't be using uh, too much of the utilization that you do have, but also you won't be living above your means or living right there on the threshold to the point to where, okay, I'm going to be able to go out to eat this Friday, or I'm going to have to pay this high mortgage, you know. But also that goes for credit cards as well, as I mentioned, right? So 15% goes into credit history and credit length, right? 10% goes into the mixed accounts that you do have. You want to have secured loans, you want to have unsecured loans, you want to have credit, you want to be able to have mortgage, you want to be able to have, or let me, you want to be able to have a lot of different mixed accounts on your profile that shows up that you are responsible at handling many different aspects of credit approval. All right. So, but all of that equals up to 100% of your credit score, right? So, what does a good credit report look like? Like, this is just kind of something that you can take and put in your mental Rolodex. Like 100% of good payment history. Every now and then, you can get off between 94, 95, 96, 97. and still be able to get approvals, right? 5 or more accounts on your credit report, and a good credit report has higher credit limits on it as well. So what do I mean by that? That you don't still have that $200 credit card and that credit card only that you got approved for as your very first starter card, right? You want to have higher limits to where you're getting approved $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, 5,000 plus, right? So I think that the minimum, when you look at all of your credit that is put together, I think a good one is around $5,000. And you also do not want to have more than 3 inquiries per bureau, right? So what do I mean by that? You have TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. You don't want to have more than 3 inquiries with any one of those bureaus. And not all agencies or all companies report to all three. I have material that we go into. Uh, we've gone into that within the past few weeks to where it breaks down which banks report to Experian, which company reports to Equifax, which mortgage company, mortgage lender reports to TransUnion. All that information is very important as you progress past getting your credit in position and you start learning how to debt stack. You learn how to credit stack, right? That way you're able to bounce in between bureaus without getting these excessive inquiries. All right. And also a good credit report, it looks like with no collections, no tax liens, no bankruptcies. But like I said, if anything is hindering you from getting the approval that's needed, everything is already in play and already set forth for you to be able to get it put in position, right? But it takes you getting to that particular first level of understanding, man, I got to clean this up. Because I still know people to this day, they know what's going on, but they still not even pulling the trigger to get it fixed, to get it rectified, not even working on it, just living with it. That's like living with a bad disease or a hole in your heart. Yeah, I know it's there, you know, and that's why we always talk about mindset. We didn't talk about mindset today, but it seems like it's still going to come up eventually because you cannot enhance or improve anything you have going on if you have a piss poor mind. You know, we learned about this in my college career readiness class. That's good. That's good. That's good. You got to show me some of that material because a lot of times they'll teach you what they call financial literacy, but they still leave out a lot of the information to keep you still dependent upon their system, to still keep you dependent upon having to run to someone else for the information, and they're going to give you half the information or none of the information in order to keep you as a customer, right? The same as going to the doctor. A lot of times people get prescribed prescriptions, but what they don't tell you, and I'm not saying this is 100% true, but it happens a lot. But what they don't tell you is that those are placebos. I'm going to tell you that this is going to make you feel good. I'm going to tell you that this is for that ache and pain. I'm going to tell you this is for your anxiety. I'm going to tell you that this is for your stress. I'm going to tell you that's what it's for. I'm going to give you that, and you're going to believe, this really makes me I sure feel better. It's a placebo. Look up what the word placebo means. All right. So why are we able to dispute items on the credit report? The FCRA, right? Federal Credit Repair Act requires that the credit bureaus maintain accurate and complete information, right? So disputing closed accounts and keeping open your open accounts that you do have. Why? Because we just talked about that the age limit of your accounts is important. But if you have inaccurate, derogatory, negative accounts, the way that you get to that 700 club is by getting those removed. So step one is getting your credit report pulled and have it reviewed and looked over. Either you can do it or you can get somebody else to do it for you. Okay. But that's the first step because you got to say, man, I, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to open this shop. I want to be able to open up this line of clothing. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. But it's going to start with you understanding where you are currently, Because if you're not in position right now, or you don't know what position you're in, because you could have been set up by somebody that may have passed on, and you never knew what they did for you, or you could be set up and already put in position and not even know it, just based upon not knowing what power credit holds for you, right? Because we all were pretty much taught the same thing, to always pay for cash, because cash was supposed to make you seem like a boss. Like, no, cash just made you cashless. Using banks' money, using lenders' money, using hard money, other people hard money, right? Is where it's at. It's not about taking your own dollars. You take your own dollars and you put them somewhere so they can make other dollars, right? Every dollar you make should be out there making another baby, another dollar baby, right? But you don't want to dispute your open accounts, because the account will more than likely continue to come back when they report your history once again. What you would want to do is to have them update the account. So once they update the open account to a positive, then now you're good. Now you're golden. That's why I say, don't apply for credit while you're getting your credit worked on. Don't fall behind on your open accounts that you know you have to pay your bills on just because you're getting your credit worked on, right? You still have to be a responsible lender. I mean, a responsible consumer, right? Because if you don't change that and you rely upon the effectiveness of credit repair to fix your situation, your mind is still broken. So what's going to happen? Your credit's going to get into a position. You're going to follow a couple of plays, go out and get that bank approval, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000, and you're going to mess over it. And then now those loans that you got approved for because your credit was good, your mind was still stuck in that old stage. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to let those go bad. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. That's why the majority of these lottery winners who win these millions and millions and billions of dollars, they fall into a situation so quickly. But it's really just it's what you call too good to be true, and they can't even handle all that goodness because their mind is still stuck in corrupt. It's stuck in corrupt captivity, right? So until that changes, then and only then will you be able to be a better manager of yourself and of your situation, right? So the system and the process that I use is outside the norm of what people know credit repair to be, right? Credit restoration to be. The system and the process that I use right now is the new age AI Metro 2 compliance software. So I'm not typing up letters talking about, oh, I'm going to send a goodwill letter, or I'm going to send this basic dispute letter, I'm going to send this 609 letters. Those are still very effective for a lot of people, but this new age that we're living in right now, to where all of the laws and the statutes are public information, public knowledge, and they're all in a database. So once the information is plugged in and put side by side what these laws state to protect the consumer, now they're interlocked and married together. So the personalization has become legalized. And that's why the effectiveness to getting these disputes and getting these inaccuracies and getting these things that you never called nobody and told them to report out on your situation. Like, who gave somebody authority to call LexisNexis or Innovis or CoreLogix or SageStream or uh, TransUnion to update them on an account that you fell behind on? Nobody wrote up an approval for that. Now, if you did, then it may be a little more difficult, but a great majority of people have not done that. Alexander, ¿cómo está, hermano? All right. But you want to be able to get all of those inaccuracies removed, such as your name, such as your address, in order to really truly begin the process. And 1 week, what we'll do is that we'll get this software pulled up, and I'm going to show you the automation of it. Like if I take a new client's information and plug it in, right, without showing you the the soft information that's not needed, right, but showing you the process of how everything's automated and it's basically built for you. You can't lose. Yep, you can't lose, and that's the gist of it. So when you look at factual disputing and you look at the ability to put yourself into position, the ability to put yourself in a credit worthy position, because credit will open so many doors for you. I mean, so many. Credit will have you based upon your week to week or your monthly income or your yearly income. Credit will have you walk into any establishment and walk out with that furniture. Any car dealership, if it's within your price range, drive off in that car. Any neighborhood you would like to live in, if it's in your price range, close on that house within 30 to 90 days, depending on if it's a new build or someone's living in it and they need time to move out. Credit will have you walking into an apartment complex with the confidence of, man, this is a really nice space, a little location, right? It has the 2 bedrooms that I need for myself and my child. You walk in, put your application in with confidence. You sit back and just wait, and they come back. Oh, hey, Astro. So we got you approved. In your mind, like, okay, what you think? But what do we truly do? We walk in with that. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm gonna see. You should never see. Oh, I'm gonna toss a coin and throw it in the air and see what happens. I don't think that has benefited you up until this point in your life. So let's stop doing that. It's 8/29. We can stop doing that today. 3/29, 2003. If you want to stop doing it, stop doing it. Because I would appreciate it. Because I love to help people with the information that's needed. Because that's what we're lacking. We've always lacked the information, and when we've had the information, what have we lacked? We've lacked the instruction. So the instruction is the know-how. So if you get the information and then you get a genuine person giving you the instruction, the only thing you got left to do is execute. Information on me, execution on you. If you don't execute, enjoy where you at. I promise you're gonna stay there. Peace out.